engage hard questions and to ask the hard things. But in deconstruction, you're not doing that quest based on searching for truth or even having the Bible as any kind of a standard of authority. You've shifted the authority to your own self. And they'll say this outright, that if you're going to a book or you're going to any external authority, you're vulnerable to cult-like mentality and to be oppressed and harmed by these toxic doctrines. So in deconstruction, you go with what works for you. You go with what you deem by your own moral compass, which, by the way, is broken.
I don't think it's fair to say that people who are deconstructing don't care about the truth or aren't interested in the truth. So I just kind of want to clear a few things up about what it means to deconstruct and what it feels like, what the experience of deconstruction is. So hi, Lisa, if you end up seeing this, I would absolutely love to have a longer conversation about it. But the assertion that people who deconstruct don't think objective truth exists at all or don't care about objective truth doesn't represent my experience in the deconstruction community nor my personal experience. When I was deconstructing, the entire reason that my deconstruction process began was because I deeply wanted to find the truth. That was part of the process for me. It was trying to figure out, is this true? Can I figure out what is really real? And so I deeply care about what's really real. And so framing deconstruction, saying that if we don't view the Bible as the source of truth, therefore we don't care about truth at all, is inconsistent with my experience and, again, what I've heard from other people deconstructing. I think maybe where the disconnect is that when people deconstruct, there are levels of depth that you are willing or interested in going to. So you sometimes have Christians who are deconstructing some of their theology. But for some of us, we want to say, I need to understand why I believe what I believe. And one of those core beliefs that we're willing to question is, why do I believe the Bible is true? How did I arrive at the belief that the Bible is true? And so it is in our pursuit of truth, our desire to find truth, that we even question that. And I totally understand how disorienting that is. I think for many of us, the Bible is the truth, and there is no other way to look at the world. And so to question that is questioning your identity. It's questioning your position in the world, who you are, your purpose. It is absolutely big and scary. But it is not because we have this disdain for truth. Truly, we are trying to find it. And, I personally kept examining this document of the Bible, and I couldn't get to a place where I continued to believe that it was true. And I think the other disconnect is when, you hear people say, I'm just not convinced, or I lack a belief in God. Like I just don't happen to believe in God. I think a lot of us are trying to be as honest as possible, and trying to capture our perspective as accurately as possible. So for example, I consider myself an agnostic atheist, meaning that I don't currently believe in God. I just am not convinced that God exists. But I'm not making a truth claim that there's zero God. I don't think I have enough information and access to enough data to make that claim. And so I think maybe for some Christians, that's a frustrating point. Don't you yes or no believe? Isn't this a black and white thing? But I can say, I'm not convinced. However, I don't think I have all the answers, and I think for a lot of us, we continue to search. And we also are okay with not knowing. There are a lot of things where I'll say, you know what, I don't know enough to have an opinion on that, right? Or I don't know yet. And maybe I won't ever know, maybe I will. But I think it's okay to say, I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. So I just wanted to clarify that it doesn't mean we don't value truth or we don't think that truth exists. We just are saying sometimes we don't know what it is.